going on, Jerome's? So remember during the offseason when all the haters and the losers were like, oh, Lord, the Vikings lost Kirk Cousins, who threw 2 interceptions, including the game-losing one today against the Steelers. Not that I was paying attention. As well as, oh, they let go Danielle Hunter. Oh, J.J. McCarthy got hurt. And remember, ESPN predicted that the Vikings would end up with the worst record in the National Football League and stumble into the number 1 overall pick. Baloney. Vikings go on the road, put the absolute Darjamin blend full-on teabag of the New York Football Giants at 28-6. And this is something we predicted because everything was aligned for the Vikings to put a hurting on the Giants, as opposed to, the Vikings 1.5-point favorites on the road. I mean, they'll just go to a single-score game. Point differential, my ass. All right. Let them yap about point differential now. So the Vikings 1-0 on the season. Obviously, it feels good. Yes, it was the Giants, but you play who you play, and there's a lot to like, man. Andrew Van Ginkel, just proving why he was probably one of the most underrated free agent signings in the league this year. Is a great off-ball as well as edge rusher. Had that pick 6 and was just glorious, man. Diamond Dallas Turner getting involved, having that sack. Vikings fans doing the skull chant in opposing stadiums. That makes me feel good. And also, like I said, I swear to everything that's holy, we could not lose to a team that was dressed like clown shoes. Couldn't do it, man. Couldn't do it. And also, slinging Sammy Darnold, Aaron Jones looking good. It's fantastic, man. So, diving on in. Winners and losers. Man in the match, Sam Darnold. Right? So, I understand that, 208 yards passing isn't a whole lot. He was efficient, and especially when this game was in the balance, like Sam Darnold delivered, man. And a lot of it was attributed to the Vikings were just basically running out the clock towards the back third of the game. But 19-24, I think he started 11 for 11. It's pretty damn good, man. 2 touchdowns. The one interception was not on him. Not on him at all. Also, that touchdown to Jefferson on that slant is like, oh, hey, Deontay Banks, all offseason, you're like, I can't wait for week 1 to have Justin Jefferson. Had him ISO'd one-on-one. What happened? Darnold also had a 113.2 quarterback rating. Comfortable. The ball was out, dropping dimes out there. Also led a 99.5 yard touchdown drive, which was glorious. It was just really good, man. And you have to feel good because all off season, everyone was questioning the Vikings, why they signed Sam Darnold, why they pay him $10 million, why they trust him to be the starter. He's a bust. And the Jeromes know, and we made this point. Logic just dictated he was surrounded by nothing with the Jets and the Panthers, and now he's surrounded by something here with the Minnesota Vikings, and look what happened. All right, now, yes, it's one game. Yes, let's see it next week against the Niners. Let's see it the week after that against the Texans. Let's see it the week after that against the Packers. Fully understand, but you play one game at a time. Tranquillo. Andrew Van Ginkel, excuse me. So saved a touchdown by Daniel Jones early. Also, that Florida's defense only gave up 6 points, 2 field goals. Also, blew up a third down as well, and then of course the pick 6 was just really fantastic moving out there, 4 tackles, and was just contributing at every single level. And Andrew Van Ginkel, fantastic signing. Aaron Jones, you had to squint. Right, because it had been a hot second since a number 33 running back for the Vikings had the burst back there like Aaron Jones does. Now, what's ironic is that Aaron Jones is older than Dalvin, but I mean he looked like vintage Dalvin Cook, like 2018, 2019 Dalvin Cook, and Aaron Jones looked fantastic, man. 94 yards rushing and a touchdown, 6.7 yards per carry. Also added 2 catches. The Vikings got themselves a running back 1, man. About time. Justin Jefferson, so didn't put up the Lulu stats, but that 44-yard shot, which really kicked off the Vikings' offensive progression, also had that touchdown on that slant. Plus, you saw the gravitational pull of Justin Jefferson. Every single play, 2 to 3 defenders were going his way. I think that opened things up for everyone else. Harrison Phillips, so Horrible Harry does so many good things that don't fill up the stat book, but he was getting out there. He got a sack. He got pressures. Had a batted ball. Was getting a pass rush, which pass rush isn't necessarily his forte, but it was really impressive. Also 5 tackles. So, we came into the season a little bit worried about the Vikings D-line, but as the Vikings broke camp, we said, we felt pretty good. We felt pretty good about where the Vikings defensive line was, and Harrison Phillips was a major part of that. Also, well, we'll get into like Tillery and Bullard too. Diamond Dallas Turner, or excuse me, Patrick Jones second, had a couple of sacks rotating in there. And the Vikings, they did have healthy scratches for Redmond and LDR, but mainly it's because they had Jones and Hadi Ward as defensive linemen, just getting after things in sub package. And Jones looking really damn good. Also, Diamond Dallas Turner. That's right. Had that sack in 2-minute drill, a nice little T&E stunt with Hadi Ward, and also got involved with a couple of other plays, had 3 tackles. Overall, there's a lot to like. The Vikings front seven, baby. Byron Murphy Jr., I think this was easily the best game that we've seen Byron Murphy play. And as a Viking, pass breakup on 4th down, had 9 tackles as well as a tackle for loss. So it was great in run support. Him being freed up to play a lot more slot, I think, was huge. And Murph was a big reason the Vikings were able to shut down Malik Neighbors for most of the day. Josh Oliver had that gorgeous 22-yard catch that really started things off. Where initially you're like, okay, is Sam Darnold going to be bad or not? But when Darnold split the safeties and hit Josh Oliver on that post, you're like, baby, we might have a stew going. Also, Oliver had a couple key blocks on some of the larger Aaron Jones runs as well. Harrison Smith, the ageless wonder, interception in the end zone, also 7 tackles. Like, this is not a charity case. Like, he still is a top 15 safety in this league. Jonathan Grenard. So what's interesting about Grenard, he got credit for 0 goose egg D'Angelo Russell tackles, but he was involved heavily, basically in every single play, getting consistent pressure, and basically 5'8" club was just all over the place, getting loosey juice all over the place. So again, you're going to look at the stat box like, oh, Jonathan Grenard 0-0-0, he ghosted it. No, 5'8" was very heavily involved. Also, the Vikings front seven, I haven't felt as good about a front seven since like the prime Zimmer years, like 2017, 2018, but Tillery and Bullard played their balls off today. It was really, really good, man. Also, we said the Vikings had the best linebacking crew in the National Football League. Blake Cashman had some huge plays. Ivan Pace Jr. was flying around despite the personal foul, which we'll get to. The rotation of AVG and Grenard and Turner and Hadi Ward and Patrick Jones second, like, they were getting after things. They were absolutely getting after things, man. Jalen Speedy Naylor with that touchdown catch. Also, Kevin O'Connell with that RPO look, man. Oh, that was gorgeous. I love it. And also, unfortunately, it looked like Jordan Addison re-aggravated his ankle injury. Also, on that tackle, wasn't that a clear hip drop? Like, I thought we were penalizing that this year. Yeah, but Naylor may have to step up even more if Jordan Addison does miss some time. Naylor's dealing with the ankle injury himself, but looked good on that touchdown catch. Josh Metellus, of course, one of the most versatile pieces on defense for Flores. 4 tackles and a pass breakup, and 44 was just all over the place yet again. And then O'Connell and Flores. Like, O'Connell, like, we gave him credit for that RPO look, but the play calling was smooth. It built on previous plays and instances, and like, he was just scheming guys open all over the place. And the Giants defensive coordinator Shane Bowen was just in jail. And the fact that O'Connell was able to get the ball out quick from Darnold's hand, and even though Dexter Lawrence made a big time impact on the game, like his pressure and hitting Darnold's arm resulted in Darnold's interception, which certainly wasn't on 14. But let's not forget, like, the Giants' defensive line is legit. It's one of the best defensive lines in the league. But Brian Burns, neutralized. Thibodeau, basically a non-factor. So great job by Kevin O'Connell here, getting some runs going as well, really mixing things up, getting more balance. And I love the adjustments. I love the way that they came out strong in the third quarter. Had that 2 touchdowns. Well, one was a defensive touchdown, but you know what I mean. Yeah. And then Brian Flores. So Flores is a Brooklyn guy. And so, this is like a homecoming game for him. And, of course, he's pissed about not getting a head coaching interview. Of course, he's pissed about the Tua interview. This had to feel good. And Daniel Jones was just lost. Like, if you're a Giants fan, I feel for you, man. Like, how do you look at Daniel Jones and his decision-making, or lack thereof, and be like, it's year 6. We pay you $40 million a year, and that's what we get. But 5 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, 2 picks, and a partridge in a pear tree. Jones had a 44.3 quarterback rating, which is not good. No bueno. 74 rushing yards, and also Malik Neighbors. I mean, he got loose for a couple plays, sure, but a lot of it was garbage time as well, but only 66 yards receiving. But overall, great job by the offense, great job by the defense. I think teams was good for the most part, but yeah. Losers, or not so winners. CJ Ham's my guy, man, and it's just unfortunate because the Vikings were struggling to get something going, and then you're thinking, okay, here we go, fumble, blah, 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 but then the Flores defense bailed him out. Stephon Gilmore got cooked by Neighbors on a big third down, but, Gilmore's still really damn good. Jay Ward had that holding on one of the punt returns early on, and then the interior offensive line was sort of ass, thank you, early, but I love the way they solidified and calmed things down. Brandel had a false start, and then, Bradbury had the ticky-tacking holding, also allowed some pressures from Dexter Lawrence, but the Dexter Lawrence sack was firmly on Ed Ingram, and you could tell like they were scheming ways to ISO Ed Ingram. And if you're a defensive coordinator, you can do that. Like if there's a weak link along the offensive line, like you can get them isolated one-on-one. But I like that they calmed down and recovered, and a lot of times Darnold had all day back there, which is great. Plus, they opened up some great holes for Aaron Jones. Also, big props to Josh Oliver as well, like we said. Brandon Powell, so he let that punt bounce, and then the Giants did a really good job, and they settled it at the half-yard line, which is not great. And that's part of the thing, too, is like, decision-making as a punt returner, not just can you bust one to the house, but can you fair catch the ball cleanly, and also can you make sure that the ball doesn't bounce so you don't lose that hidden yardage? Ivan Pace Jr. had that personal foul. I was like, you can't let emotions get the best of you, man. Like that's costing field position. Just can't have that. Yeah. And then Ryan Wright, shank. Obviously, it's late in the game, and the game was sort of out of reach. But I mean, in nearer run things like that can't happen. And I think I don't think it was an accident. The Vikings had a punter tryout last week during the week. I think they could have that again. And I don't think that Ryan Wright is a lock to be the punter for the Vikings in the next couple games, but we'll see. But next couple games, so yeah, win on the road against the Giants is nice. We'll have to update this graphic. But San Francisco, Texans, at Packers, with or without Jordan Love, they all loom large. But one game at a time, eating this elephant one bite at a time, and we'll go from there. But overall, got to feel good about what went on here. That's right, man. But that's it. Vikings, Giants, winners and losers. Let us know your thoughts. Our thoughts. Who are your winners and losers? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Support the work. Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.